So obviously a lot changed in 2020, but there's actually a huge opportunity that came out of it if you know how to get started with it. What's up everyone, Paul here from dropshippingtitans.com, where I teach regular people just like you how to start your first successful dropshipping store. When 2020 started, I don't think any of us had any idea how much of a roller coaster the year would be. A lot has changed. And in particular, when the virus first hit and the shutdown started, I think a lot of us were really scared. Myself, I run my own businesses. I'm a small business owner. Everything's online, and I had no idea how this would impact my income and therefore my life, particularly when I saw the stocks completely tumble. I'm not gonna lie, I was really nervous and scared about this whole situation. But what we found though, for any of us selling online, myself, my friends, my students, we actually saw things that we never would have imagined, and they were all positive in terms of our business. Now, I wanna go through why I think a lot of these changes that are happening online are permanent and are here to stay. But I do wanna just say right from the front that I'm only going to be talking today about how the virus has impacted e-commerce. Obviously, it has much greater effects on the world, but I won't be getting into any of that. So there's an ad tech company called Criteo, and they recently did a survey and some research that revealed just how much e-commerce has changed because of the pandemic. What they found is that 39% of consumers, 39% of them, have started shopping online for the very first time. And when you think about that, that's pretty crazy. So that means in 2019 and before that, all the online shopping that we've seen, all the sales that we've seen come through into all of our e-commerce businesses and our other online businesses, those have all come from less than half of all the consumers out there. Because 39% of consumers have shopped online for the first time because of the pandemic. And about 33% of them have found new places to shop online that they haven't discovered before. And as a result of this, we've seen just an explosion in the number of sales coming through in our e-commerce stores. So eBay alone saw a 26% increase in sales in second quarter, which is their biggest single quarter growth in more than 15 years. And of course, we've heard the same thing about Amazon growing by a huge amount too. But Amazon, a lot of people don't realize this, when Amazon makes money, it's not just them making money, it's also third-party sellers, people just like you and I, because half of all the items sold on Amazon are by third-party sellers. When we look at the Amazon stock over the past 365 days, and we see that it's exploded up, that's also reflected on our seller accounts as well. And when we see eBay stock going up a lot as well over the past year, we know that that's because more people are buying items on eBay from sellers like us. So this is great because it means that we made a lot of money in 2020, but the bigger question is this a change that's going to go forward into the future? And what a lot of the surveys have discovered is that this is somewhat of a permanent change. You see, people have become used to the convenience of shopping online. Instead of having to go to the stores, now 39% of consumers have suddenly discovered that they can just get on their laptop, get on their phone, place an order, and the items can be there the same day or in a few days. And that convenience is something that people are already starting to get used to for the first time for many people. In addition to that, people are also used to the convenience of doing more at home. Whether that's working out at home or working from home, people like that they don't have to leave their house to do these items. Not just because of the safety factors with the virus, but also because of just the convenience. And anytime you start something like a home office or a home gym, it costs money to do that. And people will continue to spend money on those things because they don't want to go out and do them outside their home. Now, one of the industries that of course was hit really hard by the pandemic was the travel industry. We saw that early on when all the cruise ships shut down and then people couldn't travel outside the United States, people couldn't fly at all for a while, and people still have a fear of doing that. So the travel industry was pretty much decimated in 2020, but there were still a lot of people who would ordinarily go on vacations still making a lot of money, and they now had extra money that they ordinarily would spend on vacation. So instead of spending it on those different activities and going out on vacation, they instead spend the money online. And I think that's going to continue until people are not afraid of going out to different events and going on vacation again. You see, it's really hard to change someone's behaviors or their habits. But a year like 2020, it forces it to happen. It forces people to do things that they otherwise weren't comfortable doing before, shopping online, or that they otherwise didn't know was as good as it is. And then once they do it, they realize, hey, that's not so bad. They form new habits and those new habits stick. In fact, in June, even though a lot of the lockdowns were being lifted, we still saw a 30% increase during that month in online sales in comparison to online sales before the pandemic started. And 85% of consumers who have said that they just started shopping online for the first time say they will continue to shop online even after all the lockdowns are lifted and if the virus is completely gone. And what all this means is that e-commerce is growing by a lot this year. Myself, a lot of my students, my friends, we've all seen month after month more sales than we usually see during a Christmas shopping season. It is completely insane. IBM recently crunched some data and they've seen that e-commerce grew by 5 years in just 2020 alone. Now, even if we just look at the next few months, we can already see that there's a lot that can change that would all be really good for e-commerce. So for instance, we're seeing that a lot of US retailers, brick and mortar shops, have shut down because they couldn't survive through the pandemic shutdowns. And we're gonna see that that continues to happen. And they have a lot more restrictions than e-commerce stores do. So for instance, a lot of big stores like Walmart, Best Buy, and Target, they are not going to open on Thanksgiving Day like they normally do for Black Friday sales, which means that e-commerce is going to get a jump start on them because people can go onto websites to buy items like eBay and Amazon, even if stores like Walmart and Target are closed. We also don't yet know if during the winter there'll be an increase in cases, which might result in further shutdowns, which results in more people shopping online. But overall, what all this means is that Q4 is going to be crazier and bigger than ever before. And going forward into 2021, we are going to see e-commerce continue to grow and continue to stay at this much higher level than it's been at ever before. So what does this mean for you? This means that there's actually a huge opportunity for you that exists to create your own e-commerce business. Because as much as we've seen e-commerce grow and as big as it is already, it still has a long way to go. Brick and mortar retail still makes more money overall every year than e-commerce. I mean, think about that for a second. We know that e-commerce will eventually overtake brick and mortar, and we should get in now before that happens so that we can learn the system now and take advantage of it while it's growing. So if you want to learn the easiest way, in my opinion, of getting started with e-commerce, go ahead and click this video right here. That's my video all about how to start an eBay dropshipping business, which is the easiest one to start for beginners. So click there, and I'll see you there in a few seconds.